Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Michael Thomas, and today I wanted to cover. I had actually a friend come in, and she brought up a great topic and something that was kind of relevant, I think, to her strength training, and that is how do you work around an injury, or perhaps you have a joint that's bothering you or joint discomfort. It's not really an injury, but some sort of limitation within a joint. How do you strength train uh, that muscle area, that joint, um, in a way that you can, stimulate the muscles where you can actually build muscle around that area or that joint or that muscle group, and how do you do so in a way that's safe and practical for you? Um, and I think that's important because we all have issues with our bodies, right? Structurally, whether you have some arthritis in a joint, or maybe you have a knee that bothers you, or patellofemoral issues, which is the kneecap as it moves across the femur. Really all the major joints we have. I know I have clients come in that have issues with them. So what are some ways that you can strength train that area of the body and it be effective for you? And I think that's an important consideration. First and foremost, if you have a chronic pain or chronic issue, you should get that evaluated. You should get that looked at by a physician. When in doubt, always check it out, and maybe get X-rays or some sort of imaging. So if everything is kind of structurally sound and you're free to exercise, the next piece of advice that I would give you is to let pain be your guide. So what do I mean by pain? Pain. What is pain, and what is pain, and what is fatigue or tension across a muscle? So pain within a joint that is really a sharp pain that's acute, that really kind of limits your mobility, is something that you don't want when you're exercising. But tension across a muscle, where you're feeling muscle being worked, or place tension across it, or fatigue, or a burning sensation in a muscle group, that's probably normal. But an acute stabbing pain where you're like, I gotta stop, that's not good. So that's, first of all, as always, no matter what exercise you do, let an acute or a sharp pain be your guide. We want to avoid that. But what we want to work towards is placing tension across those muscle groups or muscles in a way that does so that avoids that sharp pain. Now, I have musculoskeletal issues for sure. People that know me know the issues that I have. I have some back problems, which, as I've shared, is the result of what I believe it's a result of deadlifting heavy. That's one of the reasons why I do not teach barbell deadlifting from the floor. I just don't teach it. I don't think it's necessary, and I think the risk of doing that outweighs the potential benefit. And so, for me personally, I don't deadlift, right? There's no reason to run a risk of re-injuring myself by doing the deadlift. So first of all is avoiding things that cause you pain or could potentially injure you. But one really good way to work around an injury is to limit the range of motion in which a particular exercise causes joint pain. So I'm on the chest press exercise. I've done videos doing the chest press exercise, and it's just an easy one to demonstrate. We could do the pull down, which is the one that sits next to me. I could demonstrate that, a leg press, or any of the exercises. But I think the chest press is an easy one to demonstrate ways that you can alter an exercise to best maybe work around an injury. But you always got to remember, you let your own pain or something that you have to be receptive to your body. And if something is hurting you as far as an acute, again, pain in a joint, we want to change or alter those exercises, or maybe not even do that exercise and find another variation. But what I want to show you today is one thing you can do, like with a chest exercise, a way to work around or limit exposure to pain or exacerbating a joint injury. So, for instance, here, I do have an elbow that bothers me. I have a little bit of an issue with this right elbow. So one of the things that I do, and that I've found that works with a lot of clients that they have even a shoulder injury that has been evaluated, in which my elbow has been evaluated as well, is we can change the range of motion. So here's a chest press, and I've got that set where I'm getting full range of motion, okay? It's starting down here, really probably a ½ inch off of my chest, and I'm getting a full chest pressing motion. Now this is extremely light for me, and that's another thing that we'll talk about here in a second, but I want to talk about range of motion, okay? So whenever I'm doing a work set with a load that I can work out with, me doing a full range of motion, actually having excess elbow flexion when I'm pressing, actually does exacerbate my elbow joint pain. So one of the things that you can do is you can move the range of motion out, a setting or two, okay? So that's one position out on this particular chest press, and that doesn't cause my elbow to flex quite as much, and I can still get full extension, and then I can come back down. And in that particular position, with me, I literally can go heavy, and it limits the pain across that elbow joint, okay? Now that's just me. Again, I'm very in tune to my body, and I know that I can do chest presses, but I just I can't bring it down into a full, elbow flexion and go all the way out, all right? And I can train heavy and work around this elbow pain, right? Just because I get elbow pain when I do chest presses at full range of motion does not mean I have to, at least in my particular case right now, that I can't do any chest pressing movement. No, I can alter it by actually reducing the range of motion, moving these lever arms out a bit, okay? So that's one way that you can do that. You can do that with every exercise. The leg press machine, or even a squatting movement. If you're using dumbbell squats, if you have a patellofemoral pain or knee degenerative changes in your knee or whatever, you could limit how far you squat down. You don't have to go down to 90 degrees like I hear so many preach. You just don't have to do that. You can limit your range of motion and still get quad, hamstring, and glute activation. And that's really the whole purpose of exercise strength training, is to place tension across muscles in a way that taxes the muscles that we're trying to work, but doesn't cause you pain within a joint. Okay? So that's one of the things that you can do that I found is very helpful. I have a client that has had major reconstruction on his shoulder joint, or maybe has rotator cuff, torn rotator cuffs or whatever, and as long as people are cleared to do something, we can move this all the way out, which really limits your range of motion, right? But if we can do that, we're still going to get some pectoralis muscle recruitment, some deltoid, some tricep muscle recruitment. So altering your range of motion, okay, is a great way to mitigate the joint discomfort or even joint pain or maybe joint irritation, right? If you have it. Now, if you're perfectly healthy and you can do full range of motion with no pain, you should absolutely do that. I'm talking about people that have joint issues within a particular exercise. Again, in this example is the chest press exercise. So the first tip is to listen to your body first and foremost. You're always listening to your body, how I'm feeling day to day, and is something causing me discomfort in a joint area. The second thing you must do, of course, that comes first and that continues throughout your training program as being in tune to your body, is changing the range of motion that stimulates the muscles that you're trying to work, right, effectively, but doesn't cause joint pain. Okay? The third way, which is as equally important as altering the range of motion, may be to lighten the load, right? You could do a much lighter load and still recruit the muscles, right? And that may cause less wear and tear on your joints if you have joint discomfort. For instance, if you have severe shoulder issues, you may decide that you need to actually do both. Limit your range of motion and go extremely light on the chest press, okay? And you may need to do 30 or 40 reps per set. And that's okay. You're still going to strengthen the muscles in that region. Is it optimal? It may not be. I don't know. Probably what's optimal is what you can do effectively, consistently, and take care of your body. Okay? So you can go much lighter. Okay? And we could actually, if you can go much lighter and keep the same range of motion, that may be a great way to train for you in that particular muscle group or in that particular region of the body. Okay? So, again, the three ways that you can alter an exercise, any exercise, okay, is first of all, be in tune with your body, okay, whatever exercise you're doing. Know the difference between muscle stimulation and joint pain, okay? Be seen by a physician if you have chronic joint pain that's acute, that's sharp. And then, once you've been diagnosed and cleared to do some exercise, you can limit the range of motion, okay? And don't be discouraged. We all have issues. Limit the range of motion, number one. And if you can limit the range of motion and go equally, in that 6 to 10 rep range, which is a heavier load, then great, do that, okay? And then the third way is to just go lighter and either keep a full range of motion, or if you need to, do both. Limit the range of motion and go lighter, and that's okay. Because you're still doing good things for your muscles because you're placing tension across those muscle groups and that's causing an adaptive response. So one of the biggest mistakes that people can make is, I've got this injury and therefore I just can't strength train. Okay, I can't do anything. And certainly there may be conditions that you can't, right? But in most cases that I've found, there are ways we can work around a muscle group and stimulate that muscle in that area, and still be able to stimulate muscle and hold on to that muscle mass, which is vital, absolutely vital, especially if you have an injury, right? Because those muscles in that area are going to want to atrophy or kind of go away anyway. But there's also things you can do. You can change the range of motion. You can change the load, and you can also just change the position of the body. But that really kind of goes outside the scope of this video. Maybe I'll do another video discussing just different exercises. But a lot of that is individual, and so keep that in mind, that this is a general video that I'm doing, and I cannot prescribe individual exercise to you. So if you have questions, feel free to email me, comment below. But I just wanted to give you those tips today. But again, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make, they may have a surgery in an area, like for instance, they have a knee surgery. And certainly, when you're in a recovery phase of a knee injury, yeah, you probably don't want to do strength training on that area if you haven't been cleared to do so. But you should keep training all the other areas of the body. And absolutely, I know whenever I went through my knee surgery, in which I was non-weight bearing for about 6 months, I did the other leg, the other calf, all the upper body, the trunk, the arms, and then of course did all the rehab on the leg that I had repaired, and then did everything I needed to. And once I started being able to strength train on this side, I just really was able to go rapidly. So that's a mistake, is if you have a little injury that does completely impair a muscle group or a joint, do not quit strength training. Do all the other joints that you can. And you may need to use equipment where you can set on and everything be stable, and that's good. Just find a place that you can train and do that. But really my focus here is to give you guys practical strength training advice, and I try to give you the best that I can, the best that my knowledge and my experiences bring, in a way that you can continue to strength train your whole life, which I believe strength training is the most powerful mode of exercise on the planet. And in fact, I know that it is. So anyway, I hope that video helps. Talk to you soon.